viewers, we've had quite an exciting cruise ship season this year with over 70 cruise ship calls to destination, and it has brought in quite a lot of activity on the island and so on, and it has been welcomed certainly by the maxi taxi drivers. And just to give us an idea, because we're coming to the end of this year's or this season, I should say, the end of this season's cruise ship and arrivals, and I think the last one is coming pretty soon. This weekend maybe, but for that, just to give us an idea of how things been going and whether or not it has really been successful, I am being joined by Mr. Cloyd Willams, and he's the president of the Tobago Maxi Taxi Drivers and Owners Association. So welcome and good morning to you, Mr. Williams. How are you doing?
I'm fine, and thanks for having me.
So today, we had a bumpy start to the cruise ship season, but thankfully that was only just at the start. And how did the rest of the season go?
All right. Well, I'm happy to report that it was really a good season. We had a bumpy start, as you said, but it ended up well, or it's ending well. We had our challenges, but we were able to maneuver the challenges that we face, We have over 70 cruise ships in the island, and just about 2 or 4 cancellation. And this coming weekend, it's going to be the last ship, actually. The last ship for Scarborough, but then we have about another 3 for Charlottesville. So the season was pretty good, all right? And we had our challenges, as I said, and we were able to master them. You remember that incident on November 11th where
Yes.
we had a shortage of maxi taxi or transportation. I'm happy to report that we averted the crisis. We met with the Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly and the Secretary for Tourism, and we were able to source buses, maxi taxis, and so on. So actually, we had a great season.
So how did it work? The additional buses that you were able to get from the THE, just give me an idea how they were able to fit into your schedules and so on, and how they will be able to be utilized.
All right, they fit in very nicely as though they are accustomed to that kind of operation. We have the white buses from the Tobago House of Assembly, then we have the PTSC buses. They will operate especially where we have the shortage. The Tobago House of Assembly, through the Chief Secretary, Farley Augustine, was able to send a few buses, and the Secretary for Tourism. So there were no more fall short, so on. And let me just say that we have been reaching out to the Ministry of Works and Transport and the Transport Commissioner for more buses for Tobago, more maxi taxis for Tobago. There is a shortage of maxi taxis in Tobago. I would have sent letters to the Ministry of Transport and the Transport Commissioner requesting at least about 20 more buses for Tobago, because we have a fleet of buses under 100. And if these buses have to service the school, special tours, the cruise ship, the fast ferry, of course, there's a shortage. And I've been reaching out to them for quite a while, asking for more buses. And it took me to send a pre-action protocol letter to the Ministry of Transport for additional buses. And they acceded to it now. They put it out on the papers and they make it open so that those guys who really are waiting for buses and want a maxi taxi ride can now apply to the ministry for more maxi taxi.
So how many the licenses, or what's it called, the registration, how many of that is going to be made available to Tobago additionally?
Well, I'm not sure of the amount.
Okay.
I would have asked for 25. Okay. Once we get 25 large buses, we are free to go, all right? So I'm not sure. It's going to be a process where they interview you, and if you pass the interview, you will be granted a permit.
And what's the deadline to apply?
It's gone already.
Oh, it's gone already.
Since last week. There was a closed box at the license office. You place the application, they understand that the box gone down to Trinidad, and so I'm not sure what is going on right now. But I'm going to be calling them from I leave the station to find out what is going on with that. Once we can do that, once they can grant the passes, when they grant the maxi taxi rides to Tobago, well, we'll be happy.
And then, of course, by the time the next cruise ship season starts in October, November, we'll be fine.
We'll be fine. And the cruise ship or tourism is one of the fastest growing industry in the world. It's growing fast, and it's also fragile, and we need to take care of it, you know. So I'm hoping that this can happen. Even right now in Jamaica, for the first 24 months, they will be earning more than $1 billion US. All right, and I'm hoping that the Tobago House of Assembly, along with all the stakeholders, can fall into gap, right, where we make tourism more personal. All right, where it can be more lucrative. The Tobago House of Assembly, I'm asking them to be more involved, personally involved. I know they're involved in promotion, in music, in dancing, and so on. But the actual arrivals of the guests or the ships, I would really like them to be more personal, more involved. We thought of asking them to give the blessings to the association where we can bring in our own cruise ships, you know what I mean? Because we have problems with some of the agents, and I'm saying that once we get in more involved, that's the stakeholders, the association, the reef boat operators, and so on, I think it will spell good for this little island of Tobago.
Well, I wanted to just talk a little bit about just the overall experience that our cruise ship visitors had. And of course, you would have transported quite a lot of them pretty much every time that there was a cruise ship in harbor.
Yeah.
So give me an idea of what's been the feedback. So because, I mean, there's a lot of work that needs to be done in Tobago for our tourism to really rise to the level that it should be.
And that's a loaded question. And there's a lot of work to be done in terms of the sites, the buses, the beaches, and so on. But the experience has been great because I've been taking the guests from one point, from Scarborough to Rainforest to Boca Reef, Nyland Pool, and so on. And they're enjoying Tobago. Tobago is basic tourism, you know, and we need to grab at it, you know. So the experience has been great, and they rather, even compared to other islands, maybe Barbados and even Trinidad, they rather Tobago.
Why is that? Like, what are the reasons why they rather Tobago above the rest?
All right, Tobago is like a piece of heaven. You know, when you look at the layout of Tobago, it's very different from the other countries, you know what I mean? You go to the fort and you look at that whole area of Scarborough, you overlook Scarborough, right? For example, even the Boca Reef, right? It's not, you don't have a reef in all over the world, you know. Boca Reef is special, you know what I mean? The Nyland Pool, you know. So the whole of Tobago sends a message to the world, you know what I mean? And I think we need to embrace Tobago. We need to embrace this little space, you know, make it the greatest island in the world, you know. And sometimes somebody say we don't know what we have. Tobago is very special.
Yes,
and just recently I was carrying some Jamaican American, let's put it that way. And they went to Trinidad the day before, and I asked them to compare Trinidad and Tobago. He said, man, I don't know what down there. Tobago is the place for us. And they feel very special. And apart from that, we have something to offer. We have like our food, we have the music, the dancing, the culture. The people are friendly. In Tobago, it's welcoming. When the cruise ship comes, they will have a cultural show, and the tourists will join with the locals, dancing and singing and having a great time. So we really have something special in Tobago that we need to cherish.
What are some of those low-hanging fruits you think that we can grab at in terms of being able to make our tourism product better?
There's so many things that we can grab at, you know, and as I mentioned, like the local food. Of course, we need to improve. We must improve our product. You know, I mean, there's room for improvement, you know. Even with the buses, you need to improve the buses, the local food, the dancing, the sites. And one of the things I want to talk about is the sites, you know what I mean? I think that even Pigeon Point, whether Pigeon Point can be like a day for the tourists. Because we normally have Jazz Festival in Pigeon Point, whether you can set up your tents in Pigeon Point. So today we know we have a big ship is coming. Why not make Pigeon Point the day for the cruise ship? You know what I mean? Where we have our cultural activity, where people bathe, they come back, listen to the culture, eat the local food, and that kind of thing. So all these are things that we need to tap in on. And these are some of the ideas that I will have to carry to the Tobago House of Assembly and the Secretary for Tourism.
What are some more of the ideas that you have?
Actually, I would like to see tourism become localized. In other words, you can meet the local people into the village. You go into Lescato or Bethel or somewhere, and where these tourists interact with the locals. Maybe in a comedy center, maybe in the garden, and that kind of thing. It become localized, it become part of you and part of the tourists. It's an experience that they will never forget. You know?
And then also, I mean, as you've been transporting these visitors and so on, and even when you had to deal with the oil spill a couple months ago, you know, what was some of the feedback that you got from them?
And ironically, some of these people wanted to see the oil spill.
Wow.
You know, of course, they asked Mr. Williams, can you take us and let us see the oil spill? But they can only see the scars of the oil spill, and they will take pictures, and he was so interested, you know. And we were cautioned by somebody, don't pass them by the oil spill, and they wanted to pass it, and we passed them down to Petitru, down to Lambo. They saw the oil, the rocks were black and so on, and they were very, very excited about it, you know. So out of evil cometh good, so to speak.
That was very interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, and then, you know, just them being able to see the efforts and stuff like that, what were their reactions to it?
It was marvelous. And to see these guys in their white suit and in the oil, in the water, sopping up the oil and so on, it was just exciting for them, you know what I mean? And sometimes you wonder how they were doing it. If you was in that situation, what you would have done, you know? And they were very much amazed. They wish that they could, they take pictures and they wish that they could have gave them a tip and that kind of thing. So it was very, very exciting for them.
So what did that experience do? Tell you though, as somebody who has just been around for so long, about, you know, what visitors are interested in?
Surprising that we are living here, and some of the things that we are interested in, or we are not interested in, the visitors are interested in, right? They look at people walking on the road, using the walker, you know what I mean, paving the road, cleaning the oil, you know what I mean, and they are very much interested in some of these things, running the goats, and that's something I want to mention to you. And I have just an advertisement here and I think it's something that the tour agent should include in some of these stores. Now in Buko, you have the goat race, and some of the guys are there with the goat and number, and they give a display and I think the tour agent should really include this in the agenda. Get into Buko, the integrated facilities, and have a look of the crab race and the goat race, right? I have the flyers, and the guys are promoting it, and it creates a lot of interest. And it's very beautiful. Sometimes the guests themselves will take the goat and run with it. You know what I mean? It's very, very exciting. I think it's something that we need to promote in our skills, skill.
And then what about in terms of just even some of our people, our business community and so on? Do you think that, I mean, are you seeing any improvements? Because we've heard a lot of times our customer service is not always the best. Do you think that we've just been any sort of change just over the last few months? Or is there anything that you could point to that's hopefully going in a positive direction? And
you raise a very interesting point there. I think our customer service need to improve. All right, and it's not only for tourism, but general in the government office, in the THA offices. You know, I mean, sometimes you get into some of these office people, they wouldn't look at you there on their laptop with their long nails, can't even type properly, and that kind of thing. Our customer service need to be improved. And that sends a lot. It's international, you know what I mean? You know, when you interact with people in a timely way, in a friendly way, in a mannerly way, you know, you attract them, you know, you send a message to the world. And I think we have a lot of work to do in terms of our customer service.
And then overall, you know, how would you summarize this whole experience this year?
Fantastically great. It was marvelous, you know, and to know that we were able to stand the tide, meet our quotation, interact with the people, show them a piece of Tobago, a piece of paradise, you know, I mean, hearing a lot of something from their country, whether it be Germany, from London, from Italy, it was just marvelous. And something I'm enjoying for quite a number of years, and I plan to go on as long as I could.
And you had quite a lot of it this year.
Definitely, you know, and Tobago is great, and we have an increase in ships, all right? A few years ago, we had just about 30 25, 40 ships, but now we are having over 70 ships coming to Tobago, and I believe the 2024-25 season will be better. But it all has to do with our level of promotion.
All right, great. Well, we got to go for a break, but I want to thank you so much, Mr. Williams, for being on with us and viewers. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise.